All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the first and only meeting of the Board of Commissioners of Fulton County in July. Today is July 9th, 2025. It is 10:01 a.m. Madam Clerk, please call the roll for purposes of a quorum.
Chairman Rob Pitts.
Present.
Commissioner Bridget Thorne.
Present.
Vice Chairman Bob Ellis.
Present.
Commissioner Dana Barrett.
Present.
Commissioner Mo Ivory.
Present.
Commissioner Marvin Arrington Jr. Commissioner Khadijah Abdul Rahman. Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Please rise for the invocation followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Almighty and gracious God, we give you thanks for this day, for your continued grace and mercy upon our lives. We pray now your peace and your power upon those who are present. Bless now our leaders, give them your direction and your vision. It is in your name we humbly pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, continue, Madam Clerk.
On page 2, consent agenda. 250488, adoption of the consent agenda. All matters listed on the consent agenda are considered routine by the County Commission and will be enacted by one motion. No separate discussion will take place on these items. If discussion of any consent agenda item is desired, the item will be moved to the first regular meeting agenda for separate consideration.
All right, any items on the consent agenda to be removed? Not. Entertain a motion to adopt the consent agenda. All right, motion to adopt by Commissioner Thorne, seconded by Commissioner Barrett. Please vote.
And the vote is open. And the motion passes, 6 yeas, 0 nays. Bottom of page 6, adoption, first regular meeting agenda, 250506, adoption of the first regular meeting agenda. Mr. Chairman and members of the board, there are amendments to today's first regular meeting agenda. On page 12, item to be revised, 250531, Public Works. The item has been amended to amend the requested action. The item should read, request approval to authorize Public Works staff to provide the necessary notification and hold a public hearing in anticipation of a 5% water sewer rate increase. Items to be removed. First item on page 13, 250483. Commissioner Ivory has requested to remove the resolution requiring department heads to submit an annual training assessment during the budget preparation process, 250483. Also on page 13, 250537, the resolution of the Fulton County Board of Commissioners to decline participation in new projects in the West Side Tax Allocation District. This item is sponsored by Vice Chair Ellis, along with Commissioner Abdul Rahman. The next item to be removed is on page 15.
Wait on 0537. What's the correction?
We're adding Commissioner Abdul Rahman
Okay. All right.
as a sponsor.
All right.
And on page 15, item to be removed as requested by Commissioner Ivory, 250540, discussion, non-working escalators and repair status. That's all.
That's it? All right, Commissioners, any other items? All right, motion to adopt the agenda as amended. Motion to do so by Commissioner Thorne, seconded by Commissioner Abdul Rahman. Please vote.
And the vote is open. And the motion passes, 6 yeas, 0 nays. 250507, ratification of minutes. First regular meeting minutes, June 4th. Second regular meeting post-agenda minutes, June 18th, 2025.
Is there a motion? Motion to ratify by Commissioner Ivory, seconded by Commissioner Barrett. Please vote.
And the vote is open. And the motion passes, 6 yeas, 0 nays. On page 7, 250508, presentation of proclamations and certificates. The first proclamation is recognizing Fulton County Police Department 50th Anniversary Appreciation Day, sponsored by Chairman Pitts with full board support.
Can I get all of law enforcement to please, and their supporters, to please join me and my colleagues? And don't be shy, some of you all come on the other side. Boy, don't y'all look good this morning. I feel so safe. All right, we got everybody? All right, good morning. This proclamation, whereas in 1975, the Fulton County Police Department was formed to patrol the unincorporated areas of the county with the mission to preserve life, protect property, and maintain order through a partnership between the department and the citizens. And whereas the Fulton County Police Department serves as a vital part of our community, working closely with municipalities in South Fulton County to prevent the loss of life and property. And whereas the Fulton County Police Department exemplifies leadership and community service and is one of few police departments to be nationally accredited by the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies, CALEA. And whereas the Fulton County Police Department strongly embraces the philosophy of building partnerships with the community in all its daily operations and functions to proactively address the immediate conditions that give rise to the public safety issues such as crime, social disorder, and fear of crime as well. And whereas the Fulton County Police Department strives to create positive relationships with the residents of the businesses they serve every day by sponsoring such events as Camp 911, National Night Out, and the Citizens Police Academy to build community trust and support. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of Fulton County applauds the Fulton County Police Department for 50 years of tireless commitment and dedication to the residents of unincorporated South Fulton, and does hereby honor the department on Wednesday, July 9th, 2025, and proclaim it as Fulton County Police Department 50th Appreciation Day. Please put your hands together for these individuals that don the uniform every day. And thank you for standing. These individuals put their lives on the line and do so much for our community, seen and unseen. And I am so proud with my colleagues to be able to announce this day.
Thank you, Commissioner Khadijah. I'd like to thank all the commissioners for the proclamation today. Herbert Jenkins was our first police chief, and 50 years ago doesn't seem that long ago, because 32 years ago I was hired by this police department. It was only 18 years old, and now we're 50, and I know I don't look that old.
You don't.
Thank you. I would like to honor our 4 line of duty deaths: David Hagan's end of watch, December 14th, 1980, Christopher May, August 19th, 1991, Aaron Blunt, February 22nd, 2023, and Terrence Green, March 4th, 2025. We have served what is currently cities known as Milton, Johns Creek, Sandy Springs, the city of South Fulton, Chattahoochee Hills, and Mountain Park. We still have a strong footprint supporting Fulton County as a whole. We handle 911 services for the Fulton industrial area near the Fulton County Executive Airport. We provide security for 125 Fulton County facilities that are located in all of the 15 cities. We employ 151 security officers in that 125 building footprint. We handle animal cruelty investigations countywide, regional police academy service, which handles all 15 cities in Fulton County. We have a Tier 1 SWAT team that I'm proud that I helped build to be a Tier 1 SWAT team. And we provide services to every city in Fulton County. The one thing that has never changed is our mission statement, which is to preserve life, protect property, and maintain order through a partnership between our department and our citizens. On behalf of the Fulton County Board of Commission, I'm very proud to be the police chief and hope that this police department remains another 50 years. Thank you very much for having us.
The next proclamation is recognizing Disability Awareness Day, sponsored by Commissioners Thorne, Barrett, with full board support.
You gonna call everybody down?
Thank you.
You gonna call everybody down?
Yeah, do we have the Office of Diversity and Civil Rights Compliance coming down? I think they're coming down. I just want to take a moment to explain the Office of Diversity and Civil Rights Compliance that Fulton County has. It's your one-stop shop for ADA access at Fulton County government. The office works with both internal and external parties to ensure that all people, regardless of disability, have equal access to county services. Some of these services provided include sign language, interpretation, and development of workplace accommodation plans. Additionally, the BOC in 1992 established a citizen panel known as the Commission on Disability Affairs to consider the needs of Fulton County residents with disabilities and make recommendations to the BOC for ways to improve access. This group meets on a monthly basis to engage in ongoing review of county policies, bringing the valuable input of respected community leaders to meet the needs of those with disabilities. So it gives me great honor to do this proclamation. Whereas the Americans with Disabilities Act was signed on July 26, 1990, as a piece of groundbreaking civil rights legislation protecting the rights of individuals with disabilities in many areas of American life, and whereas the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports that nearly 70 million U.S. adults live with a disability, and the U.S. Census Bureau estimates that roughly 81,000 Fulton County residents under the age of 65 have a disability, recognizing that most individuals will experience a disability at some point in their lives. And whereas Fulton County upholds the provisions of Title I of the ADA, affirming its commitment to a workplace free of discrimination by providing equal employment opportunities, reasonable accommodations, and an inclusive environment for qualified individuals with disabilities across its workforce. And whereas Fulton County is committed to ensuring that all programs, services, activities, and facilities are accessible to citizens with disabilities in compliance with Title II of the ADA, and whereas Fulton County recognizes the rights of individuals with disabilities to live independently, exercise self-determination, make choices, and contribute skills, talents, and abilities to society. And whereas Fulton County has invested substantially in barrier removal, digital and physical accessibility, and inclusive practices. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of the Fulton County recognizes the 35th anniversary of the American with Disabilities Act of 1990, expresses continued support for the invaluable advocacy and continued efforts by the Department of Diversity and Civil Rights Compliance and the Commission on Disability Affairs to improve the quality of life for citizens who have disabilities, and does hereby proclaim Wednesday, July 9th, 2025 as Disability Awareness Day in Fulton County, Georgia.
I want to first thank our sponsoring commissioners, Commissioner Thorne, Commissioner Barrett, and thank all of the Board of Commissioners for their support of our office and the Commission on Disability Affairs. I wanted to just recognize that the month of July is known as Disability Pride Month, a time to reaffirm our commitment to fulfilling both the letter and the spirit of the Americans with Disabilities Act and its amendments. Disabilities are a natural part of the human experience and in no way diminish anyone's right to live independently, to enjoy self-determination, to make choices, to fully participate, and to contribute to society. The Fulton County Department of Diversity and Civil Rights Compliance recognizes the tremendous value and potential of people with disabilities, and along with our Commission on Disability Affairs, remains committed to empowering, opening new avenues of access, removing barriers, and ensuring the full inclusion of our employees and citizens with disabilities in Fulton County. So thank you, and I want to recognize our CODA chair, who I want to give the opportunity to give comment, Ms. Vernitia Shannon.
Thank you. We're so appreciative of everybody who is kind to people with disabilities at home and in the public. We're so glad that you're here today. Thank you for your honor. Commissioners, thank you for your honor. Appreciate it. And God bless all of you who continue to be advocates for the disability community.
All right.
And then 122. And then Zoom, 120. Excellent, right?
Good, how are you?
The last proclamation is recognizing Amplify Your Music Youth Initiative Appreciation Day, sponsored by Commissioners Barrett and Ivory.
All right. Well, Mr. Sean Garrett is making his way to the podium. I just want to say it's an honor to have such a celebrity in the house, but it's even more of an honor to have a celebrity who cares so much about the community that he's giving back in the way that he is. And we're really excited to have him do such great work in Fulton County. Ready? All right. We've got a proclamation today, which reads, whereas Sean Garrett, a native of Fulton County, Georgia, and my district, is a Grammy Award-winning super producer, songwriter, recording artist, inspirational speaker, and philanthropist whose creative legacy has influenced modern music and inspired artists around the world. And whereas Mr. Garrett, who signed his first record deal at 14 and went on to write and produce for Beyonce, Usher, Chris Brown, Ciara, Ludacris, and many others, remains grounded in service, mentorship, and youth advocacy. And whereas Mr. Garrett has used his platform to educate and empower aspiring creatives, speaking at respected institutions, including New York University, Berklee College of Music, and Georgia State University, where he encourages students to dream boldly and work with purpose. And whereas, inspired by his late mother, Sean Garrett launched the Amplify Your Music Youth Initiative to provide underserved communities with access to musical instruments, education, mentorship, and leadership development. And whereas Amplify Your Music provides Atlanta and Fulton County middle school students with hands-on resources, encouragement, and pathways to explore their potential through music. And whereas Sean Garrett and Amplify Your Music are standing in the gap as funding for music and arts education continues to decline, and ensuring that the creative voices of Fulton County's younger citizens will be heard for generations to come. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Fulton County Board of Commissioners recognizes Sean Garrett for his service to the community and his commitment to arts education and youth empowerment, and does hereby proclaim Wednesday, July 9th, 2025, as Amplify Your Music Appreciation Day in Fulton County, Georgia. Of course, please. You're welcome to say some words.
I just want to say thank you so much, Commissioner, all the commissioners. This is an amazing day for me. I've been so blessed to have had the opportunity to work with so many different amazing artists. And one of the things that was so important to me in school was the fact that I did have the ability to not only study, but have music. Music is something that has been really, really influential in my life, and it's keeping me out of trouble. But it's also inspired so many different people around the world. I just want to say thank you all so much, and I appreciate this opportunity. And thank you for your kids that are in school. Music is, I remember when I was in first grade, I really didn't get math, but in third grade, I became excellent at math. And music is numbers to me, so it's such an inspiring tool. So keep music in your life, keep music in your kids, and thank you all so much.
All right, continue, Madam Clerk.
Continuing on page 7, public hearings, 250509, public comment. Citizens wishing to participate in public comment will be allowed to appear in person or may choose to participate virtually via Zoom video conferencing by submitting or registering on the county website, www.fultoncountyga.gov. Priority for public comment will be given to Fulton County citizens and those individuals representing businesses or organizations located within Fulton County. Speakers will be granted up to 2 minutes each. The public will not be allowed to yield or donate time to other speakers. The public comment portion of the meeting will not exceed 60 minutes. In the event the 60-minute time limit is reached prior to public comments being completed, public comment will be suspended and the business portion of the BOC meeting will commence. Public comment will resume at the end of the meeting. Mr. Chairman and members of the board, we will start with the speakers in Assembly Hall. We have received 29 speaker cards. Will the first 6 speakers please come forward? Mayor John Bradbury, Jody Rachel, Janie Parrish, Eloisa Clemented, Kimberly McMichaels, and Leonard Adams.
All right, speakers come forward. Again, when you have 15 seconds left of your 2 minutes, I'll say 15 seconds. That'll be your key to terminate, or conclude your remarks, rather. We have 29 here for the general public hearing. We have another 22 for the public hearing on the budget. And we have 120 on Zoom. And what we normally do is hear from as many people as we can during budget time. Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I think I know most of you, not all. It's good to be with you. And I especially appreciate the proclamation for the Fulton County Police Department. And Commissioner Abdul Rahman, I think maybe a highlight was when you said during the photograph, do we need to tighten up? I think that is maybe the key phrase for the entire day, maybe for this entire process of looking at what are you going to charge the citizens of Fulton County and what we need to pay Fulton County for property taxes. So remember that. Do we need to tighten up? I think the answer is yes, please. I understand more than most how important it is that you fund the needs of your citizens. And there are important things being done in Fulton County, but you also know as elected officials, we were elected by the people to be the leaders that they hoped that we would be, to make the tough decisions, to set priorities. We can't fund everything that we would like to. In Johns Creek, and I do have to brag a little bit while I'm here, we were just recently named by U.S. News & World Report as the best city to live in the United States, and that's something that all of us in Fulton County should be proud of. But we do that by living within our means. And every year, I submit a budget to the council built on the rollback rate. And we are able to make great success and gains and quality of life for the
15
people of
seconds,
Johns
Mr. Mayor.
Creek by doing what we can on less. And so please do what you can to hold yourselves to a higher standard, and please
Good morning, Commissioners. It's nice to see you today. My name is Jody Reichel. I serve on the Sandy Springs City Council, and I'm here today as both an elected official and a property owner in Fulton County. The proposed tax increase, a jump from 8.87 to 9.87 mils, is not just a number on a paper. It's a 12.49% increase that will hit every homeowner, every landlord, and every tenant in this county. For many, it's the difference between stability and displacement. I own rental properties here in Fulton County. Many of my tenants have been with me for over 15 years. These are families, seniors, and individuals who take pride in their homes. I've worked hard to keep rents affordable far below market value because I believe in housing stability and because it's the right thing to do. But this tax hike, it will force landlords like me to raise rents, and tenants like mine will have no choice but to leave. Where will they go? Fulton County already struggles with affordable quality housing. This will only make it worse. Meanwhile, in Sandy Springs, we've kept our millage rate steady since 2005. We've proven you can live within your means, prioritize wisely, and still deliver excellent services. That's leadership, that's stewardship. What's missing here is commitment to fiscal discipline. Instead of combing through the budget for savings, you've asked residents to bear more of the burden. You're telling seniors on fixed income, young families scraping to get by, and small businesses barely hanging on that they need to pay for their lack of restraint, for your lack of restraint. This isn't sustainable and it isn't fair. The people of Fulton County deserve leaders who make tough choices, leaders who respect the taxpayers' limits, not just their wallage. I urge you to reject the tax increases, and thank you for your time.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Jamie Parrish. I'm here on behalf of the Fulton taxpayers that you seem to forget. The seniors on fixed incomes, young families scraping by, and small business owners barely hanging on. This proposal, a jump from 887 to 987, is not just a tax increase, it's a gut punch to the very people keeping this county running. At 12.49% property tax hike, that's not modest, that's outrageous. And let's not sugarcoat it. If your property value goes up, which it will, the hike turns into 15%, 18% or more. That's hundreds of dollars pulled from kitchen tables across Fulton County. People are already stretched thin between rising mortgages, utilities, groceries, insurance, and now you want $80 million more? For what? We don't see $80 million worth of results around here. We see crumbling roads, we see crime issues, we see jail overcrowding and endless spending with no accountability. You didn't come to us with a plan to cut waste. You didn't scrub the budget. You didn't lead with reform. You went straight to taxpayers and demanded more, and we are tired of that. You say this is for the future, but what about today? What about grandparents trying to age in place without being taxed out of their homes? What about young couples scraping to buy their first home? What about the mom and pop shops already hit from every angle? This tax hike says one thing loud and clear. You think you know better how to spend our money than we do. But we're here to say no. Respect the people who elected you, respect their struggle, respect their limits, and vote no on this tone-deaf, reckless increase.
Good morning. My name is Eloisa Clementich, President and CEO at Invest Atlanta. The Atlanta Tax Allocation District has been a tremendous investment for both the city and the county. The numbers speak for themselves. From 2007 to 2023, the growth in property assessed value for all the TADs has increased by over 177%, which is significantly higher than other parts of the city without a TAD. This means that the TAD has generated a growth from $3.9 billion to $10.9 billion. Additionally, areas just outside of the TAD, within a half-a-mile radius, which we refer to as a halo effect, the assessed property value has increased over 138%, growing from $15.8 billion to $37.7 billion. In comparison, other parts of the city have only seen a 98% increase in assessed property value, which means the halo areas of the city and the county have outpaced the rest of the city and county by 40% in growth. This growth translates into increased revenue for taxing jurisdictions as the halo effect funding goes immediately into the county's tax base. When discussing the return on investment, the TAD has proven to be a highly effective tool. Atlantic Station is a testament to the power of the TAD. Property values grew from $2 million in 1999 to over $843 million in 2024. This is a remarkable increase. TADs have produced over 2,200 housing units, of which 58% are affordable, the creation of $2.4 billion in total capital investment, and 2,200 direct new
15
jobs.
seconds.
$3.2 billion in economic impact. I can think of no more powerful economic and community development tool than the TAD. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Leonard Adams, President and CEO of Quest Community Development Corporation in the west side of Atlanta. I'm also a resident of Vine City and a business owner. Today, I would like to, on behalf of Quest and the employees of Quest, I'd like to express our deep appreciation for the continued partnership between Fulton County and the Atlanta Development Authority through the Westside TAD District. We are equally compelled to convey the critical importance of maintaining this relationship to ensure the ongoing progress and revitalization of this historic Westside community. For over the last couple decades, Quest has been a committed steward of equitable development, working tirelessly to promote stable, affordable, and supportive housing to include services for the city's most vulnerable. With the use of the Westside TAD, we have developed over 400 units of supportive and affordable housing serving unhoused individuals, older adults, veterans, and low-income families. More recently, Quest has expanded its mission to include a for-sale homeownership model supported by the TAD resources that offer long-term residents the ability to build wealth and remain in their communities. Our model targets families at 80% AMI and provide a newly constructed single-family home to include an accessory dwelling unit in the rear of the home. We urge Fulton County Board of Commissioners not to support any proposal that would reduce or eliminate participation in new projects in the Westside TAD. Thank you.
Next 6 speakers, please come forward. Caden Presley, Leonard Watkins, Perrin Bostic, Colette Haywood, Margie McLeod, and Charles Rambo.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Cadian Presley. Good morning, Commissioner Pitts, and to all the commissioners. I stand before you today, July 9, 2025, as I stood before you on June 18, 2025, not just as a concerned citizen, but as a victim alongside with my son and others, where we are demanding justice and action on a case of brazen federal fraud that implicates not only the individual perpetrator, but also the Fulton County defects workers. For too long, the cries of justice for this county have gone unanswered. We have submitted evidence to you, and we have heard back nothing. This is not an isolated incident. The exact crime was committed in Michigan, and we have submitted all the evidence. While my son and I were busy working, our mails were destroyed, our surveillance cameras. There are 4 active warrants on this individual. I've submitted all that evidence. We have reported these crimes repeatedly to Sheriff Labatt's office, his second in command, DFACS, and we have personally spoken to Sheriff Labatt. I have personally spoken to him at his re-election breakfast. There is nothing that has been done. I've spoken to Michael O'Connor, who is your, I think, Deputy Chief in Staff, and also Ms. Sequoia Kirby from Mrs. Khadijah's office, and I have sent emails, there's no response. This is not just an individual criminal act. It is a profound failure of the system to protect citizens and taxpayers' dollars. Commissioner Pitts and all commissioners, this is my second urgent appeal. We demand an immediate, thorough investigation into this very serious matter. We urge that you expose those involved, including the DFACS workers. The integrity of Fulton County government and the trust of its citizens depend on your swift and decisive action. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Leonard Watkins. I'm the MPUL chairman. I represent Vine City and English Avenue, who will be directly affected by you removing that TAD and the West Side TAD. What I want to say is, to take control of the West Side TAD is overreach at best and insidious at worst. What you're essentially doing is taxing us for one purpose and telling us that the surplus that we have, you're potentially going to use that money for something or another purpose that does not directly benefit my community, which came up with the TAD money. My community, with all of its faults and issues, is one of the few communities that is trying to solve the affordable housing crisis in a just manner. We may stumble and sometimes not get it right, but at least we're trying to make a good faith effort in order to affect the affordable housing crisis through the TAD funding. We have representation on Invest Atlanta, and we vehemently oppose any of those TAD fundings that we don't agree with. We do not want that taken away from us at any cost. Commissioner Ellis, with all due respect, you're from Alpharetta. Your city has benefited from TAD just as much as anybody else's. My community has been historically disproportionately not benefited from TAD funding. And now that we have it, it seems that you want to take it away, even though we are actively giving affordable housing to people who normally can't get it. Commissioner Khadijah, all due respect, as the MPU chair, I have 6 meetings per month, from the MPU to my 2 civic associations, to co-sponsor legislation and not come once to us to ask us, how do we think this problem can be resolved?
15 seconds.
I just don't understand how we can get that done. So what I'm here to say is, look, here's the stick. Everybody has to run for re-election. And we're going to remember this when it comes time that you took this development opportunity from us, particularly when we're doing our best to develop affordable.
Good morning, commissioners. My name is Perrin Bostic, and I'm a Fulton County resident. And I'm here today in strong opposition to the proposed resolution that would jeopardize funding for West Side TAD projects. This is a matter of equity, opportunity, and ensuring that we are meeting and centering the needs of working families and working people. The West Side TAD was designed to help correct decades of disinvestment in our communities. Removing funding now would undermine critical efforts to build affordable housing, support small businesses, and revitalize neighborhoods that have long been left behind. The West Side deserves the same level of public investment as any other part of Fulton County. Gutting the TAD now sends the wrong message and threatens to stall progress we fought so hard to make. I urge you to reject this resolution and recommit to a vision of shared prosperity that includes every neighborhood, especially those on the West Side. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Colette Haywood, and I am an advisory board member for the West Side TAD. Mr. Ellis, I think it is extraordinarily rude that I take my time to come up here and you're reading while I'm talking. I would love it if I could get your full attention. The West Side TAD impacts an area that is hit with so many issues, from the lead contamination, the heat island effect, and also flooding. And then we have the impact of gentrification. So to take dollars away from us, when at the same time dollars are being taken from the Atlanta Housing Authority without any plan put forth, without any communication, I'm still talking, sir, from community, how do we support that? So really, we're left with one choice, and that's to vote them out. That is to vote you out. We're looking for people who represent us, who are transparent in their representation, who actually communicate with us to see what we, the people, need, right? So, how do you intend to take TAD dollars, and what makes you a better steward? Because your actions to this point, Mr. Ellis, if I have to beg for your attention, is subpar. Why should we trust you? There is an election coming up, and we can waste our time here.
15 seconds.
What you can't ignore is our voice at the ballot. Vote them out.
Good afternoon. I came here because of last week about the middle rate. And Ivy, what you're saying with 3 service was not be cut. I don't want history to repeat itself, because HIV and a veteran, I'm a veteran also, but HIV is very important that we need these programs, because I was a foster parent 10 years prior. I enjoyed what I was doing. They put a child in my household. Arrington know about it. Rob Hicks. It's a true story. The child was HIV. She came when I was 7. Now, why at 15, I had to find out that she was HIV. Because, like you're saying, you got it late. Funded. If you cut the funding, we're going to have history repeat itself. Family Children's Service had children with HIV, didn't tell the foster parent. Now my children is 25 years old because of money. Please don't repeat the history again. Certain things that we could put money from somewhere, but not the veterans, not HIV, please. And it hurts me to revisit this, because I went through, because I fought for the children. I had family children with the Capitol. That nobody could do this again. Please, I don't want an increase in property tax, but whatever you could do, please do not cut these programs. Have a blessed day.
Good morning. My name is Kimberly McMichael. I serve in Atlanta as the presiding elder of 22 African Methodist Episcopal Church congregations. Many of my churches are here in this area. My region extends from this region, Fulton County, all the way up to the city of Dalton. I represent 22 voting congregations and their families, many of which are mega churches. We are now representing Cosmopolitan African Methodist Episcopal Church, which is a major part of this conversation today. We have worked tirelessly to do everything in our power to partner with the city of Atlanta and communities to connect church to communities to resolve real issues. And here we were, thinking that we had finally made some headway, only to find out that the rug has been pulled or is being threatened to be pulled out from under people who do not deserve to be dishonored, disrespected, mistreated, ignored, and left by the wayside. I have here a letter from the pastor who was unfortunately untimely called out of town prior to this meeting. But she says, "Dear Commissioners, I write on behalf of Cosmopolitan African Methodist Episcopal Church, a long-standing spiritual and community anchor in Vine City, to express our strong opposition to the proposed resolution
15 seconds.
537, which recommends the withdrawal of funds from this project. Please, the Cosmopolitan Church vision is not about building buildings, but it's about building lives and people. Please reconsider, and please think before you act. God bless you."
Good morning. I rise today not just in agreement with Sheriff Patrick Labat, believe it or not, but with prophetic warning to each and every one of you. The sheriff cites in his recent lawsuit that this board systematically undermines his constitutional authority. His focus is on overtime, vehicles, and jail operations, but guess what? Believe it or not, he did not go far enough. Why did he leave out that this board, whether individual or collective action, interfered with his constitutional duty to provide security for the 2024 general election? Let's make the connection. November 1st, emergency management excludes the sheriff from the election planning process. November 5th, I'm contacted by France 24, an international news outlet, on election day asking who's in charge of election security. November 6th, we all watched the public clash between the chairman and the sheriff about the constitutional duty over elections. All of this is a pattern that a reasonable person can ask if local governing authority had that much overreach that was blatant, what impact did it have on the 2024 race for Fulton County Sheriff? Here's where the line blurs. I was a certified write-in candidate. I had the right to raise concerns, and yet I was denied access to observe vote tabulations. I was told I could return in December to address the Board of Elections. That never happened. One board member, believe it or not, whom you have castigated, questioned the vote certification, later apologized to me at the Capitol for how I was treated by your Board of Elections. Meanwhile, the sheriff now suing this body was declared the winner with 100% of the vote because the board never corrected the false belief
15 seconds.
Elected in the May primary. So I beg of you in this last 15 seconds, please make the correction, because many of you are now running on this campaign about election security. It really begins in terms of
Next 6 speakers, please come forward. Kelsey Bond, James Martin, Devin Barrington Ward, L.A. Pink, Demita Chapman, and Diana So.
You have the floor, ma'am.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Kelsey Bond. I'm a 10-year resident of Fulton County. Right now in Washington, Donald Trump is cutting billions in food assistance, health care, and education to subsidize one of the largest tax breaks to billionaires in history. This will cause tens of millions of Americans to lose health insurance, SNAP benefits, and educational opportunities. In light of Trump's attacks on public services, our local governments need to do all they can locally to protect our most vulnerable residents. As the nation's capital of income inequality, we're already facing an affordable housing crisis, and workers are struggling to make ends meet. Trump's cuts will only exacerbate these problems. Unfortunately, Fulton County, much like Trump's administration, is no stranger to using working people's hard-earned cash to subsidize the ultra-rich. Right now, the City of Atlanta, Fulton County, and APS are losing out on up to $500 million a year to trophy commercial property owners whose buildings are routinely underassessed by the Fulton County Board of Assessors. Some of the most costly buildings in Atlanta are being valued at just 55% on average of what they're worth. Let's name a few. 725 Ponce, home to McKinsey and BlackRock, sold for $300 million, taxed as if it was just $100 million. The Google office in Midtown sold for $600 million, appraised for just $200 million. Ponce City Market, worth over $1 billion, appraised for less than $400 million. You get the picture. Costs right now are through the roof and already pushing longtime residents out of the city. How can the county, in good conscience,
15
raise
seconds.
costs for regular working people when billionaire property owners aren't even being asked to pay their fair share? We deserve a county government that puts working people first. Stop letting billionaires cheat on their taxes.
Yes, thank you. Jim Martin, Chairman of Neighborhood Planning Unit D. What is this tax increase for? It's not to pay for vital public services or for Grady Hospital, which you can see I'm a supporter of. It is to fund lavish giveaways to billionaires. Gifts being made by systematic underassessment of trophy properties and gifts being made as tax abatements for those same properties by the Development Authority of Fulton County, the board of which is appointed by you. I've heard Commissioner Barrett claim to be powerless to influence this problem, which can only be fixed by the state. But then I have seen her prove herself wrong by using her power to influence the problem. Unfortunately, she used it to make the problem a whole lot worse by replacing the most fiscally responsible member of DAFC's board with a rubber stamp for every wasteful giveaway that comes before it. I am sure that Elon Musk appreciates the $10 million gift of our tax money to help him offset his costs in financing Donald Trump's presidential campaign, but I do not. Thank you.
Devin Barrington Ward. Commissioners, let me ask y'all a really plain question. What part of We Ain't Got It do y'all not understand? A property tax increase when inflation is high as hell, when interest rates are brutal, when rent is through the roof, when wages can't even keep up with the cost of groceries is absolutely crazy. People are drowning, and instead of throwing us a lifeline, you're looking for our wallets. This can't be the same county that gave hundreds of millions of dollars in tax breaks to Microsoft and Elon Musk asking us for more money. Ain't no way. How are you asking us for more money and you're not making billionaires in this city pay what they owe? 1180 Peachtree Street sold for $465 million, but this county said it was only worth $193 million. Do the math. That's $272 million in additional value that did not get taxed. This is a scam. You are letting the rich not pay over $500 million in property taxes, but expecting homeowners, renters, small businesses, seniors on fixed incomes, and young families like mine that are just trying to stay afloat pay more. Hell no, we won't. This is class warfare, but it is a war that you all will lose. To Commissioners Arrington and Barrett, please stop using Labatt's crisis of leadership at the jail to justify building a new $2 billion jail. We can't afford it. Support real solutions like case management and the diversion center we are already paying for. Let me say it louder for the people in the front and the back. Anyone's pushing a tax increase while protecting billionaires and selling out the people of this county has no business running for dog catcher, much less chair of this county commission.
15 seconds.
No tax increase.
And y'all already know I don't come with a book nor a script, okay? Because we are dealing with political gangbangers. We already know that. We already know we have Ike Arrington, we got Barrett, and now we have Mo Ivy to thank, because they have been to the jail. Now, y'all can blame this on anybody that y'all want. Y'all could say Trump, y'all could say anything about anybody, Elon Musk, but when we really think about Fulton County, we have to blame it on our Board of Commissioners. We have to. You know why? Because y'all done visit the jail. Y'all know what it looked like. These are the same people that wanted Trump to be arrested by Funny Willis. All that money that was spent for there, And now y'all talking about taxes? All the money that's spent for your sheriff to go on luxury, hire his wife, jail, that's what they call April Moore, hire her son, to now work and be a part of the corruption. Y'all got all this messed up. We tired. I'm tired of going to my elders in Grove Park and in other communities, hearing them complain, cry, and some of them sitting on the side right here where y'all put Shirley's, or what's her name? Shirley's name. Ain't no way you could have put my name on no street where homeless is laying at. Ain't no way. And all the work that I do inside the community and she claimed to have done being the mayor. Ain't no way you gonna put my name somewhere where you got homeless still laying on the ground. No way. Y'all better get it together. I told y'all it's about to be a RICO up in here, and y'all name gonna be on it.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Diana So. I was here a couple of weeks ago on June the 18th in reference to Haven for Hope, a transitional home that has illegally evicted homeless women and children such as myself. I consider myself a very hard worker. Number one, I want to thank Representative Alana Savage for District 3 for connecting me to Joshua Williams, who's actually helping me. There were several board members, representatives that said that they were going to help me because this woman illegally evicted me and several other mothers. So since June the 18th, this woman illegally evicted a 22-week-old pregnant woman trying to be reunited with her child. She does have a criminal background. Come to find out, Haven for Hope has been doing this since 2014. Rest in peace to Justina Harper. Justina was a mother of 4, coming out of a halfway house, ended up at Haven for Hope, and got pregnant with her 5th child. When she was pregnant with her 5th child at Haven for Hope, Tawana Allen gave her a very hard time. That is the executive director of Haven for Hope. This woman ended up pregnant with the 5th child. The woman punished her for her 5th child. She never got reunited with her 5 children. This woman tragically lost her life. And guess what? Tawana Allen adopted her 5th baby. Why am I bringing this up? This is over a decade of taking advantage of women and children, homeless women and children. Please stop funding these organizations. Please allocate some funding for emergency housing. Because here I am, almost 4 weeks later, still paying out of pocket. There's no budget for people like me.
15 seconds.
No budget. Please stop homelessness. Homelessness has a lot of faces. Here's one.
Good morning. My name is Demita Chapman. I'm a taxpayer, but I'm also here on behalf of the residents of Fulton County with my organization, Citizens for Excellence and Elected Leaders. What I'm going to ask the commissioners do to put a pause on that tax. I had a phone call from a homeowner, I say a resident, when the homeowner. She said her taxes went up over $200,000 on her house. She sent me the proof. I'm not down with these lavish book bags, but you know what? Y'all can pause that. Because see, what happens is everybody show up on election, and then you don't hear from nobody no more until election again. Give one book bag drive for the whole entire South Side, maybe down at the convention center. But let's stop wasting the taxpayer dollars. When I come down here, I don't come to play, I come to talk business. And I don't believe in folks lying to get elected and then backpedaling on something else. You have people that is hurting right now for food, paying their mortgage, taking care, and then you want to do a 12% raise on the taxes. It's not going to hurt them rich folks. You know who it's going to hurt? Them poor folks out there, them low-income folks. That's who it's going to hurt. And it's going to hurt the city of South Fulton and South Fulton. The folks on the other side, they might can survive. I want y'all to put yourself in their shoes. I want y'all to think about it. You know, I'm tired of elected officials trying to be celebrities. Care about the people. care about the people. And when you guys start showing me you care about the people,
15 seconds.
then I will stop addressing you. But until then, I'm going to hold you guys accountable. Thank you for your service.
Next 6 speakers, please come forward. Valerie Weaver, Grace Roth, Dominique Grant, Steve Labovitz, Jeanne Simpkin Hollis, and Andrew Appleton.
Good morning. Thank you for this.
Pull the mic down, please, ma'am. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity to speak on behalf of Cosmopolitan AME Church also, and the members of Cosmopolitan. Someone has already spoke on behalf of the pastor, but as a member and an officer of the church, I stand in opposition of the TAD cuts, reductions, anything that's impacting the finances that can allow us to do the work in the community. Vine City is a historical area. Cosmopolitan is the oldest church in that community. And as a member of the church, I'd like to see the church continue to do the ministry and the outreach in that area. We're not just building homes, we're building the community back up. We're trying to build the people up. Our outreach is planned to grow the community. The community has been blighted for years. This is an opportunity with this funding to allow us to go forward. We've been planning on doing buildings and affordable housing and other ministries, development center, and offering, training and stuff through our ministry. And this funding will allow us to create facilities that can facilitate these programs. Please reconsider any cuts, any reductions that are planned for the TAD funding. Thank you so much.
Good morning, y'all. My name is Grace Roth. I'm speaking today to urge you to vote no on the proposal to decline participation in the Westside TAD. As an employee of the Atlanta Land Trust, a nonprofit developing and delivering permanently affordable housing in Atlanta and in the West Side neighborhoods, and a recipient of TAD dollars, I can personally attest that the TAD funding is essential to providing subsidy dollars to reach deep affordability and provide quality housing to well-deserving constituents. With increasing construction costs, increasing rents, and stagnant incomes, the gap between what it takes to build quality, long-lasting housing and what folks can afford is increasing every day. And the Westside TAD is vital to closing that gap in a dwindling subsidy environment. We can all agree that home ownership and housing stability are key to the prosperous and vibrant county and communities that we all aspire to, and no one knows better how to achieve those goals than the communities themselves. The TAD resource should remain in the hands of the neighborhood, and I urge you to vote no on the proposal to decline participation. Thank you.
Good morning, y'all. Nice to see y'all again and again, as I say every time. I'm Dominique Grant. I'm the campaign and operations manager with Women on the Rise Georgia. I actually just had my 3-year anniversary. Pat. But that also means for the past 3 years, I've worked closely with communities across Fulton County who are directly impacted by the decisions that are made in this room, and y'all know this. As you discuss the possibility of raising taxes, I ask you to think about what you're truly asking our communities to fund. Public safety is not about more policing. It's about making sure unhoused people have places to go. It's about access to health care, mental health support, and the basic resources people need to survive and thrive. Right now, we are watching critical supports be gutted by a certain administration. I refuse to say his name. People are being left without the care that they need, and that is the real crisis. We already have a diversion center that we are constantly talking about here in Fulton County. That could be a life-giving resource if fully supported. But instead, although there is argument behind my statement, it is continued to be underutilized. And while we're still considering tax increases that could place even more burden on our most vulnerable citizens. And I have to name something that deeply, deeply concerns me. There are 2 commissioners that I will not say their names who have constantly betrayed the needs of their communities. People have come out and spoke against y'all repeatedly, especially today.
But yet have the audacity to encourage another commissioner, and nobody is innocent, but to encourage another commissioner who is one of the few who has actually listened to leave their seat. That is not leadership. That is not a good thing for the community. That's political maneuvering at the expense of community trust. And when some of you were elected, we reached out to build with you. We showed up. We offered real solutions. Some of you didn't listen, but we are still here, and we are still demanding care, not harm, be at the center of your decisions. Please. I'm tired of coming up here, y'all. Please.
Hello, my name is Stephen Leibovitz, and I am here today to talk about the wastewater RFP that was canceled. We heard for the first time at the last meeting the only reason that this RFP was canceled was because the failure to comply with 36-60-15.1, and specifically the need to ask questions about an environmental compliance, the 5-year look back. We think the interpretation is totally incorrect, but nevertheless, if that's a concern of yours, a simple cost-saving measure would simply be to ask for an attorney general opinion. The worst thing that can happen is if the county is correct, the worst thing is a few days, it would be delayed. On the other hand, if our interpretation is correct, then if our interpretation is correct, we would be better suited for future procurements to go forward with the right interpretation. That's the right. There's no question about it, and it would be a great cost-saving measure. On the other hand, if you don't want to ask the Attorney General, then simply you have the power to ask a supplemental question. On the RFP, ask the supplemental question to all of the folks. Think about it. Think about how simple that question would be. It would simply be seeking information over a 5-year period. If you don't do one of these things, you are wasting taxpayer money. We are listening here to how people are talking about it.
15 seconds.
This is of two simple alternative solutions that we can rectify the mistakes that have been made. Please, please consider these alternatives. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Jean Simpkins Hollis, and I'm here today on behalf of the Infomark Slater Joint Venture, the selected vendor for the North Fulton County Wastewater Operations RFP. Let me be clear. We believe in healthy scrutiny is vital to the public trust and ultimately for the utility rate-paying residents of Fulton County. We welcome accountability, and we stand firmly behind the integrity and goodwill of our proposal and the expertise that led to our selection as the winning bidder. During this process, we've been told several different reasons for rescission of the RFP, for which none have been truly substantiated and call into question the integrity of the county's procurement process. So to be fair, we ask that any attempt to rebid this RFP simply add any questions required by Georgia law and leave all other factors, including scoring criteria and makeup of the evaluation committee, the same. Changing the members of the committee and the substance of the RFP, other than to supplement it with the narrow question allegedly required by Georgia law, would not only be inconsistent with this commission's stated reasons for canceling the prior RFP, it would be unfair to good faith bidders like Infomark Slater and the people of Fulton County. If the RFP must be rebid to comply with Georgia law, we simply ask that all competitors be given the same level playing field that has been given previously. We ask you, as the commission and the governing body of Fulton County, to review the hands-on and take a hands-on approach
15 seconds.
to ensure that it's a fair and equitable process and not unduly influenced by losing bidders, favoritism, or malpractice. Thank you very much.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Andy Appleton. I'm the president of Infomark and the executive director of Fulton County Wastewater Partners. And I'm here today on behalf of our employees whose lives are currently on hold while we resolve the RFP process for the wastewater treatment plant. In my more than 20 years of operating and maintaining water and wastewater utilities, this is the first time I've ever seen a procurement canceled after a winning firm has been identified and recommended by county staff. As Mr. Leibovich mentioned, we do believe there's a simple way to resolve this through a supplemental question that doesn't require the effort of going through an entire recompeting process, especially as all the firms have submitted proprietary information that's out in the public space now for each other to use. I am confident that if by Georgia law it does have to go through a procurement, we will win again. We won by a big enough margin that I'm not concerned that the results would be different. But in the meantime, we stand ready to serve the county as soon as this is resolved and letting our people who thought they're going to go to work on Monday start as soon as possible. Thank you very much for your time.
Last four speakers in Assembly Hall, please come forward. Amanda Green, Rachel Patton, Joseph Crawford, and Wale Oyega.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for your time and attention. My name is Amanda Ryan. I'm the Executive Director of the Atlanta Land Trust. I am here today to express my support for your continued participation in the West Side TAD. The Atlanta Land Trust is a nonprofit organization that works to create permanently affordable housing to support inclusive and equitable communities across the city of Atlanta and entirely within Fulton County. The West Side TAD is a critical funding source for us. We've used it for many of our projects in the past and hope to continue to use that resource in the future. In 2024, on average, we sold our homes for $130,000 below market value. The only way we're able to do that is with public investment. The tax allocation district program is the best source of public investment for our work across the city. We intentionally purchase properties within the tax allocation districts because that critical resource is there. In an environment today where very limited federal funding is at risk of being eliminated or reduced, it is critically important that we preserve the flexible local funding that we currently have in place to ensure that Fulton County and the city of Atlanta can remain a community that is accessible for all who choose to live here. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Rochelle Patton. I'm the founder and owner of Collaborative Housing Solutions. We're an affordable rental multifamily developer. I'm here today to also speak in support of you all continuing to fund the West Side TAD. We are a private developer that builds apartments for low-income families. We are partnering with the Cosmopolitan AME Church, who some members spoke earlier, and the main reason that we are able to provide affordable housing is because of the subsidies such as the West Side TAD. Really, that is what incents private developers to build affordable housing. We have to pay construction costs like any other developer, whether you're building affordable or market rate. However, where we're able to keep our rents low and serve the folks that really need it the most, including workforce housing, elderly, and working families, is through the subsidies such as the West Side TAD funds that help us provide rents at a very low income, a very low amount for 30 years. The reason, again, that we were called to this work is because we love the public-private partnership that our affordable rental housing community enjoys. We are a private developer with a mission heart. We love working with churches, including the Cosmopolitan AME Church, and We ask that you continue to fund the TAD funds for projects like ours, as well as many other developers who are considering developing in the West Side area. Without these funds, you will see a significant lack of affordable housing, and that's something that I think all of us agree
15
is
seconds.
vital. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope that you'll make the right choice. Thank you.
Chair Pitts and members of the board. I am Joseph Crawford, resident of Charlie Payton Community Association and the second vice president of Neighborhood Planning Unit I. I am looking for some foxhole partners who will help us survive the big bill so that we can make our means meet. I want to express my opposition to the proposed 12% plus property tax increase. I am a half-century-old Grady Baby resident of Atlanta, Georgia. I have witnessed investors buying up property and then turning it around and selling it for an exorbitant price, causing our property taxes to rise. Property assessments rise based on much higher sale of those renovated properties, which causes our taxes along with residents to face hardship. I'm asking you not to increase these property taxes because outsiders are building up properties and dictating how much taxes we will pay when they live in other geographical areas. On behalf of our community association, we oppose any tax increase. And for listening to me and being serious about your consideration, I thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. I appreciate the time to be able to speak with you guys today. My name is Wale Oyuniga. I'm with a company called Urban Oasis Development. We're a development company here in Atlanta. I'm here to ask you guys to please stay in the West Side TAD. Reason why is I can look back to when we first started developing in Atlanta, probably in 2005, 2006. We were in the Kirkwood neighborhoods, Eastlake, City of Decatur, and we could see what the development was doing. From a positive side, it was turning a lot of blighted neighborhoods into neighborhoods that were starting to thrive. But the downside is what happened was displacement was happening. And capitalism can be good, but when it's not countered with good governance to help make sure that the people who don't have much of a voice have an opportunity to stay in neighborhoods and stop the generational poverty that's happening. And we don't have the opportunity to use this gentrification, which can be a bad word, but can actually be a good thing, as a tool to help get people out of poverty and make sure that they benefit from all the things that are happening. We're doing a bad thing. Capitalism has to be balanced with some good governance. And that's why I ask you to stay in the TAD. It's so important because we can't do the work that we're doing without government assistance in that form. We've tried in many forms of fashions to find ways to do it because it just hinders time, but it's just not possible. The cost of land, the cost of construction just makes it impossible. And so we just found that it's important to be able to partner with government, other organizations that are doing the same thing to be able to make this happen. So we urge you to please stay in the TAD. Let's help make sure this county stays inclusive and stays one of the best counties in the U.S. to be. Thank you.
All right. That's it.
In Assembly Hall, yes, Mr. Chairman and members of the board, there are 126 speakers on Zoom.
Okay, so we have 6 minutes remaining in the hour that we've allocated for public comment. How many? 120? 126 times 2, that's 2 or 3 or 4 hours, isn't it, of Zoom. So we try to accommodate as many people as possible during budget time. So if we can ask the folk on Zoom to limit your comments to 1 minute, that would help us. And then if someone has said what you plan to say, please don't feel compelled to repeat it. We hear you. So we're trying to accommodate everyone, because there will be a public hearing on the budget after this and another public hearing at 6 o'clock.
So point of order, Mr. Chair.
Vice Chair, you want to be heard?
Yeah, so I know a number of folks that have come down have spoken on the millage rate already, but we do have, as you've noted, we have an item 250511, which will follow after this, after our public comment period. And during that period of time, we have no time limit, as I understand it.
That's correct.
An opportunity for anybody to speak on this. I can't remember if we limit their time to 2 minutes or how that
2
works,
minutes,
but it's unlimited in terms of the certain number of people that could speak. So if somebody is online to Zoom to speak on for the millage rate, they could wait to speak during the public hearing time. Is
That's
that correct?
correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so again, if you are among, how many is it, 120, 126? If you plan to comment on the millage rate increase, the budget, we'll have a second public hearing immediately following the general public comment. So if you could wait, we would really, really appreciate it. All right, first speaker.
Good morning,
I'm
Commissioners.
sorry. Commissioner Abdul Rahman.
Chairman, with all due respect, I'm going to ask that we as a body allow 30 more minutes for the Zoom speakers. After that 30 minutes, if they can be doing the public comment section for the millage rate, because you have individuals here that are waiting on an outcome as well. And they're waiting to hear what we're going to be doing today. And I think in a sense of fairness, if we can limit that particular time to no more than 30 minutes, if they can speak at the public comment section for the millage rate, I think that's a sense of fairness for everyone in the room. And so I put it out there that we do put a time limit, because there's no way in the world that we're going to be able to accommodate 100 people. However, some will see that they may be duplicitous, but others want their voice to be heard. And I'm just trying to find a way that we can stay within the time parameters, plus give equal opportunity.
Okay, I'll take that under consideration. But typically, some fall off even though they've signed up for a Zoom. So I'll just monitor it. All
Okay,
right.
thank you,
First
Chairman.
speaker.
Good morning, Commissioners. The first person to speak is Calvin Muldowney.
All right, it's 11:27. All right.
Good morning, Good morning, Commissioners. I'll be brief. Enough is enough. You want to raise the millage rate 100 basis points. In an emergency, approximately 40% of Americans cannot cobble together $400, and you want us to give you a $78 million rainy day fund? It's crazy. That's about it. Thank you.
The next person to speak is Garland Favorito.
Morning, Commissioners. You may remember back on September 15, 2021, the county district attorney requested an extra $780,000 plus $5 million per year more in taxpayer funds to reduce a backlog of 224 unindicted murder cases. And after the board granted that important request, the DA then hired her boyfriend and paid him over $700,000. On January 20th, the DA began to use that extra $5 million to open a novel RICO election case and indict 18 of her political adversaries. The Georgia DA has no such authority to do that under Georgia law. That's the state election board. Nevertheless, the DA has now spent about $20 million of our taxpayer funds on this corrupt political agenda. But that's not all. The Board of Elections has also spent millions of dollars of our taxpayer funds in litigation trying to hide the 2020 election ballots from civil courts, criminal courts, and state election board subpoenas. So why do you want to spend millions of our taxpayer dollars on this when you could just simply show us the ballots? Now you want to raise the millage rate on property tax owners, even though you have a surplus of tax money after funding all this sleazy activity. So my question is, how much more corruption do we, the taxpayers of Fulton County, have to endure before you'll rectify these injustices, protect Fulton taxpayers, and stop using our tax money on these crooked political agendas?
The next person to speak is John Amon.
Yeah, my name is John Amon. I'm president and CEO of the not-for-profit Westside Future Fund. We serve 5 historic neighborhoods on the west side, including English Avenue in Vine City. I'm also a Vine City resident on Sunset Avenue. Would urge your continued participation. The Westside TAD is just delivering outstanding ROI. The Westside Future Fund has raised over the last 6 years over $130 million of philanthropic dollars and low-cost corporate investment dollars to deliver affordable housing and buy up over 40 acres of blighted undeveloped land in English Avenue and Vine City. We're in the middle of a capital campaign that will deliver close to another $100 million as well. And the Fulton County withdrawals from the TAD, it puts at risk our ability to continue to raise those dollars to deliver high quality affordable housing and continue to generate more tax revenue for the county as well. I would welcome the opportunity to take any of the commissioners on a tour to witness firsthand the results of the work. You know, given the depopulation that occurred in the neighborhoods, it requires a lot of stimulative investment to turn it around, and the TAD is essential for that. We offer a 6-to-1 return on the TAD for any projects that we're currently doing. For example, we just had a groundbreaking for Maynard Jackson's childhood home built by his mother and father right next to the King Historic Home. It just actually was put onto the National Registrar. You know, that was a $3 million project between philanthropic and our impact fund investing as well. And it was a $450,000 of TAD funds. So that's a 6-to-1 return, which is true on our other projects. So we just urge continued participation in the return and would welcome the opportunity to show that ROI directly to any of the commissioners. Thank you.
All right, again, if you would limit your remarks to about a minute, really appreciate it. Next speaker.
Next person to speak is Matt Ruanzak.
Morning, commissioners. And Chairman Pitts, you seem to often want to limit the speaking opportunities, right, of residents. Well, you probably wouldn't have as many people giving public comment if this board didn't propose such an egregious tax increase. The majority on this board that has proposed it, are you in favor of making life financially harder for residents? Are you in favor of pushing seniors out of their homes? Are you opposed to more individuals and families being able to own their home, build their wealth, and provide stability? Are you also in favor of decreasing the quality of life of Fulton residents? Because it sure seems like it for many of you that are advocating for a 12.5% tax increase, even assuming that their property values don't go up. This affects not only property owners, but also renters, meaning everyone is impacted. The county recommends a millage rate that would provide a $7 million surplus, but for some reason, many of you still want to take an additional $78 million from Fulton residents. Did I miss something here? We have a district attorney who can't manage her budget. We have a sheriff who can't manage his budget. We have an elections department who can't manage their budget. Should I keep going? How about the trips Commissioner Arrington takes to Martha's Vineyard and other places on the backs of Fulton taxpayers? Does that sound like wise use of our money? The proposed tax increase just shows how out of touch many of you are. Many are still struggling to make ends meet due to the high cost of living. Has the high price of goods and inflation disappeared? We all know the answer is no. A responsible board would actually do a full rollback of the millage rate so there is no tax increase on residents and certainly not a 12.5% increase. This needs to be corrected. Thank you.
Next person to speak is Fawn Ortega. Fawn Ortega.
Hello, yes, I am here, sir. My name is Fawn Ortega. I'm in the film industry. I work for the union IATSE 798. I'm a makeup journeyman for 30 years. I speak for the film industry as a whole. There was a whole bunch of filmmakers here that came from other places to do filmmaking in the state of Georgia. That is no longer happening since the COVID-19. We're on the back of a strike. The film industry brought in massive income to the state of Georgia. A lot of studios were built. Those studios are now in a bubble and they are going bankrupt. The film industry has been taken over by AI, and it's in the budget bill to allow the use of this AI. It's crippled filmmakers in a lot of ways in and around the state of Georgia. The Trump administration has made traveling come to a halt, and people aren't buying here anymore. So those properties that were being bought and the people that were coming here are no longer coming here to pay these prices for these homes. So the funding has been stripped. We, the people, are being jerked around. We're watching kidnapping going on, and we are preparing to rally. We want to do that safely, protest. The money that was here is just not here anymore. So if you believe that the FIFA World Cup will be here, that's a purpose of bringing unification around the world. It's a peace around the world. And this is just not our America anymore.
All right,
Atlanta
15 seconds.
There was 100% tariff on the film industry. It's not and it's not enough work for filmmakers here anymore. We are going broke. We cannot afford anymore. We are watching, we're writing, and we are preparing to document this unprecedented time.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Next person to speak is Charles.
Once again, if your comments are about the budget, we have a budget public hearing, a tax increase, millage rate increase, public hearing immediately following this public hearing. And I appreciate your comments during this period of time on topics other than the millage rate increase. Next speaker.
Next person to speak is Charles Krieger.
Hello, thank you for taking my call. I have a question, or more of a suggestion. When tax rates go up, taxpayers are forced to look at their budgets, see what they can afford, see what they can't afford. I suggest that the government undertake the same examination of their books. You have this amount of money, figure out how you wish to spend it. Coming to us and asking for more and more money is not doable, okay? We can't go to somebody else when you guys raise our taxes and say, hey, I need more money. We have the money we have. You have the money you have. Every single person who came up with a story about their project, they're fabulous, they're wonderful, they're great. Your job is to figure out which of those you're going to spend our money on, not come to us and ask us for more and more of our money. You have money from our taxes already. Use it wisely, figure out what you like and what you don't like, or what you can spend money on and what you cannot, which is exactly what taxpayers have to do every single day. Thank you.
Next person to speak is Ping Young.
I'm a resident and taxpayer in North Fulton. I heard the comments about like South Fulton, they have lower income and suffer more. But so I want to say we are united. We living in North Fulton doesn't mean we are rich. We actually come from a background that has nothing and work hard and not living a rich life. So we are also impacted by these proposed reckless spending of tax dollar. And so I want to say that I agree with so many people has already given evidence. The thing is, when the tax dollar was collected, it was not used well. And where are the accountability for all the wastes? And where are those wasted money? And then the things like just the other person said, everybody has to live within budget, not spend recklessly. Before you raise it, please tell us where all the money has gone in the past. Where are the waste that you can cut? And how can you live like that if it's a family and it is your money you are using? If it's your money, you can use whatever you want. But it is every tax dollar payer's money. And it is both South and Fulton, North Fulton residents' money.
Next person to speak is Lucia Frazier. Lucia Frazier.
Good morning, Commissioners. I do not support any millage rate increases either. I know that most of Fulton County staff and representatives have shown many examples of our taxpayer money being misused, as a lot of people have shown, with the Judicial Department, other past commissioners, the Sheriff's Department, and of course the election staff. They refuse to clean the voter rolls, they use bloated voter rolls, and unrealistically fund election operations. I really feel that residents should keep their money and they can support directly whatever programs that they wish, whatever charities, whatever churches, whatever art. We will make those decisions, not you. Thank you.
Next person to speak is Andy Nowak. Andy Nowak. Okay. Next person to speak is Ann Kalua. Ann Kalua. Next person to speak is Anoli Bristol. Anoli Bristol. Next person to speak is Anwar Goswala. Anwar Goswala. Next person to speak is Betty Scott. Betty Scott. Next person to speak is Billy Reynolds. Billy Reynolds. Next person to speak is Ember Hogshead. Ember Hogshead.
Hello. I have been a resident of South Fulton since 2012, and my homeowner's insurance just this year has more than tripled. With the increase in the millage rate, that's going to make it virtually impossible for my family to stay here, even with us working 40 plus hours a week. It feels like you guys are trying to push us out of our community. There's been a surge in commercial development, warehouses, subdivisions, apartment complexes, but very little investment in the things that support the residents. No new grocery stores, no additional pharmacies, no new parks for the kids, and no meaningful infrastructure improvements that actually enhance our quality of lives. It seems like the focus is growing strictly on revenue, not on protecting and supporting the people who already live here. And to be honest, when residents like me come forward to speak out, the tone from this council often feels dismissive, like our concerns are simply an inconvenience to you. We are the community. We deserve to be heard and taken seriously. We urge you to reconsider the rate increase and begin prioritizing policies that help the residents stay, grow, and thrive in this city that we've invested in and call our home. We need solutions, not added burdens. Thank you.
Next person to speak is Andy Nowak. Andy Nowak. Okay. Next person to speak is Candace Connor. Candace Connor. Next person to speak is Cassandra Powers. Cassandra Powers. Next person to speak is Catherine Bray. Catherine Bray. Next person to speak is Anupa Jinkum. Anupa Jinkum. Next person to speak is Charles Q. Oliver. Charles Q. Tolliver. Next person to speak is Cherie Ung. Cherie Ung.
Hello. My name is Sherry. Sorry. And I'm a developer, affordable housing developer. You've heard from several of our colleagues that the importance of the West Side TAD in continuing the work to develop a very important and historic community. I'm just here to support that, and I hope that you will reconsider withdrawing from the West Side TAD. This is a vital instrument for development, and we are currently supporting the City of Atlanta's faith-based development program. That is cannot happen without incentives like this. As you have heard, it brings programs as well as more tax dollars back into your pocket, which sounds like, with the increase in millage rate, you should already have more. And so it does not make sense at all to remove incentives to communities that need it the most. I urge you to reconsider that and hope that you will support the plea from the community as well as from vital members of this historic neighborhood. Thank you.
Next person to speak is Cheryl Turner. Cheryl Turner. Next person to speak is Cindy Lucart. Cindy Lucart. Next person to speak is Cindy Mann. Cindy Mann. Next person to speak is Cynthia Parnell. Cynthia Parnell. Next person to speak. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Please excuse me. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. I just wanted to come before you as the pastor of Cosmopolitan AME Church, as we have representation there, but just wanted to speak on behalf of Cosmopolitan AME Church as the pastor to truly consider our project and what we are doing as we seek to build people better. And as we do so, we will need, and it is essential that we actually move with the TAD funds to use them in good stewardship towards people. And so Presiding Elder McMichael has spoken and others have spoken, but I thank you for the opportunity to truly, truly consider and truly think about the vote in that it will be impactful in so many ways. And I thank you for your time and attention.
Next person to speak is Jessica Johnson. Jessica Johnson.
Oh, sorry, I'm unmuting. Yes. As I'm listening, it sounds like there are two somewhat related issues, the TAD being for affordable housing, and then this millage rate that is essentially going to take a lot of people out of their homes and create a bigger issue within affordable housing. So let's start with the millage rate. I, for one, am a single mom. I have worked and lived here for 20 years. I have purchased my own home by myself. I am managing just fine, but everything keeps getting more and more expensive. This is starting to feel very much like California, where single women that are in the working force and are managing life just fine are going to be the first to be displaced. And then we have more issues on the other end where the affordable housing, like the housing is not protected. We do not feel protected. 12% is wild to anyone. Thank you.
Next person to speak is Cindy L. Huff. Cindy L. Huff. Next person to speak is Don Simeon. Don Simeon. Next person to speak is Deborah Jean Arnold. Deborah Jean Arnold. Next person to speak is Diana Britton. Diana Britton. Next person to speak is Diane Porter. Diane Porter. Next person to speak is Frank Whitfield. Frank Whitfield. Next person to speak is Jennifer Green Williams. Jennifer Green Williams.
Good morning. Good morning. I am coming to you all in reference to the millage rate increase. I do feel that it has been taxable to our community. I'm coming from the city of South Fulton and representing our subdivision, Whispering Willows. So we are at a point.
Okay, she's breaking up, so I'm gonna skip. Next person to speak is Erica Encott. Erica Encott. Next person to speak is James Parker. James Parker. Next person to speak is Jarrell Pitts. Jarrell Pitts. Next person to speak is Donnie Knight. Donnie Knight.
Yes.
Excuse me for a second. Donnie Knight.
Yes, I was trying to unmute. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I am a resident of Fulton County for the last 7 years. I have seen the steady increase of my property taxes over the years, and this particular increase is just extremely egregious. And I don't really see the value in the property tax increase. I live in Southwest Atlanta, and I've had to hound Public Works to have services done in my neighborhood. I've also, even us acknowledging the police today, even having to call them, they're not coming out to situations and problems where I have called or my neighbors have called about. And again, I am proposing or asking that you all please decline this tax increase. Thank you.
The next person to speak is Derek Holloway. Derek Holloway. Next person to speak is Jim Gibson. Jim Gibson. Next person to speak is Gail Stafford. Excuse me, Gwendolyn Williams. Gwendolyn Williams. Next person to speak is John Bartz. John Bartz. Next person to speak is Kate Wittenneck.
Hi, my name is Kate Whiteneck. I am born and raised from Georgia. I've lived in Sherwood Park in Southeast Atlanta for about 5 years now. I bought my home with a 2% interest rate, which is the only good thing that's happened to millennials ever in this life. But I just wanted to also comment about the tax increase. It's egregious. We still have potholes all over our roads. We have about 6 apartment complexes that I can see just from my house alone. And I do not feel like the taxpayer responsibility needs to be for y'all mismanaging funds and not allocating things appropriately. And thank you very much for your time. And I love Atlanta so much, and I hope you make the right decision for her.
All right, the next Next person to speak is Junyan Sun. Juyan Sung. The next person to speak is Casey Copeland. Casey Copeland. The next person to speak is Keith Gitman. Keith Gitman.
Yes, good morning. I just want to say that I affirm the recommendations, which sound unanimous in nature, of not increasing the millage rate. Thank you.
Next person to speak is, Leicester Asmore. Leicester Asmore.
Yes, hello. I'm a landlord in Atlanta, and I'd like to say that I would recommend that we do not pass this tax because it's going to hurt the people that I try to serve the most, which are low-income housing tenants. Thank you.
The next person to speak is Kirk Wilson. Kirk Wilson. Next person to speak is Lynn Mays. Lynn Mays. Next person to speak is Nancy Quan Sellers. Nancy Quan Sellers. Next person to speak is Miguel Torres. Miguel Torres. Next person to speak is Megan Bowen. Megan Bowen.
Hey, I'm here. I am a property owner in Fulton County, former resident. I now live in DeKalb. I want to echo the unanimous opposition to the increase in the millage rate. I also have a modest unit in which I house tenants. I'm already in competition with the large developments that are along North Avenue and near Ponce City Market. And in order to keep my price down and the rent rates of my tenants, who are often young professionals who are just leaving college and getting their life started, I cannot have this increase either. So I urge the commissioners to listen. Shame on you for encouraging us to give even more of our time at the next meeting. We've already taken out 2 hours to sit here and voice our opinions to you. Not just our opinions, but what matters to us. Thank you very much.
The next person to speak is Fawn Ortega. Fawn Ortega.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm here to reclaim my time because it seems like a lot of people have dropped out there. I just want this to be a hard no on the record. I see that there's a detention center for ICE in the works here. We are watching and writing and preparing to document this unprecedented time in history. And are you prepared to go down in history by name for standing by and allowing concentration camps to terrorize the American people right here in Atlanta? No organization. We ask for no harm to be done on us. The film industry is not here. The money that was coming here is not here. We cannot afford this. We are in a bit of a bubble. It's a constitutional crisis, and we need help here in Atlanta for people who have lived here in Atlanta for so long and watching people and films not being made here. It's really a hard no. for the Atlanta film industry. And I thank you for your time.
Next person to speak is, Mario Day. Mario Day. Next person to speak is Cal Merchant. Cal Merchant. Next person to speak is Monica N. Monica N. Next person to speak is Linda Edwards. Linda Edwards. Next person to speak is, Marco Pavia. Marco Pavia. Next person to speak is Rachel Carey. Rachel Carey. Next person to speak is Saba Asfa. Saba Asfa.
Good afternoon. I think one of the most fascinating things about what's taking place here is our level of greed as a county, that you all have mismanaged funds and are now expecting the burden to be on taxpayers. The longer we go down this path, not only is it going to have tangible outcomes where people are going to be displaced and left with no resources, we fall deeper into a moral decay. And we start to sear our conscience and become more desensitized to the issues that involve real people. So I urge you all to not have this tax increase take place, especially considering that the margins are going to be the highest affected, and learn to put people over your profits. Thank you.
All right. The next person to speak is Salam Ahmad. Salam Ahmad. Okay, the next person to speak is Shannon Quitley. Shannon Quitley. The next person to speak is Junyon Sun. Junyon Sun.
Yes. Yeah, I thank you for you taking my call. And I only have some limited details. I moved into Fulton County about 20 years ago. I found that Fulton County's property tax, sales tax, higher than other counties. You know, so Cobb counties, Forsyth County, Gwinnett County. It doesn't make sense. It is not right. But right now you increase another one. I don't know if it makes sense. You know, so like a Forsyth County just across the street, we are 20% more than both counties, the property tax. It seems not right. And also it's waste money. A lot of people's concerned about waste money. The one, I'm not Democrats, I'm not a Republicans. I don't want to involve too much political. And Fulton County's some case, Donald Trump case, they spend more money that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So I just want to ensure our taxpayer monies is used the right way. And that's what I want. That please concerned about that. Really concerned about that. It is Fulton County. It is not much better than other county, but we spend more money, property tax and sales tax. That's not right. Thank you.
The next person to speak is Diane Porter. Diane Porter.
Hi, My daughter and her husband and our grandchildren moved here from California to escape the taxes there. My husband and I are from Massachusetts, and we decided to move down here to be with them because we could not afford to live up in Massachusetts. So I ask that you do not increase this millage rate, as it will put a burden not only on us and our family, but every other citizen in Fulton County. People get voted into government and they appoint people to these boards and commissions, and they seem to have no trouble spending other people's money. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Next person to speak is Aditya Mitra. Aditya Mitra. The next person to speak is Sharon Fulmer. Sharon Fulmer. The next person to speak is Shalibra Carruthers. Shalibra Carruthers. Next person to speak is Terrion Williams. Terrion Williams. Next person to speak is Sharon Fulmer. Sharon Fulmer. All right. Next person to speak is Wynette Hammonds. Wynette Hammonds. And I believe this concludes the Zoom public comments.
Thank you, sir. That's 72. All right, what's next? Continue, Madam Clerk.
Continuing on page 7 under public hearings, 250510, police, alcoholic beverages license, request public hearing and approval for the license application submitted by LG Drinks LLC, doing business as Crispy Cool for the manufacturer of distilled spirits at 3700 Wendell Drive, Suite 21, Atlanta, Georgia.
All right, I'll open the public hearing on this item. Anyone here to speak on this item? The manufacturer of distilled spirits, Wendell Drive. Anyone in the audience to speak for or against? I will close the public hearing. All right, is there a motion? Motion to approve. Is there a second? Second. All right, properly moved and second. Let's vote, please. Motion to approve by Commissioner Abdul Rahman. Okay, by Commissioner Ivory, seconded by Commissioner Thorne. Let's vote, please.
And the vote is open. And the motion passes 6 yeas, 0 nays. 250511, finance, fiscal year 2025 general fund millage rate public hearing. Mr. Chairman and members of the board, we have received 23 speaker cards here in Assembly Hall.
All right, this is open the public hearing on the millage rate. You have speakers signed up?
Yes.
23?
23. Will the first 6 speakers please come forward? Ashley Burgess, Patrick O'Connor, Dorothy Harp, Mike Russell, Brian Allen, and Paul Bolster.
Hello, greetings. My name is Ashley Maltbia Burgess, and I stand before you as a homeowner in Fulton County, as well as a business owner. I had the opportunity to receive the commercial down payment assistance from Invest Atlanta to purchase my office, where I've been able to create 8 jobs within the last year. And I might not be a Google or a Microsoft, but I am, doing what I came here to do. When I relocated from Howard University to Atlanta, the dream was real for me. Atlanta is the promised land. And now my office is located on the west side of Atlanta within the TAD. So I have it twofold. On one side, you want to take that away. And on the other side, my property taxes are getting so high that it's going to be hard for me to hold on to the property that you guys have, allowed me to get through the commercial down payment assistance program. So I just ask that you consider people like me who came here for the dream, who are making it real, and, vote no on increasing the property taxes and also allow the West Side TAD to continue.
Chairman Pitts and members of the Board of Commissioners, good morning. My name is Patrick O'Connor, a 3-decade proud Fulton County resident. I am here to suggest a politically acceptable millage rate to all of the board members and the citizens of Fulton County. I recommend a 4% increase in the 2025 millage rate and a 3% increase in the 2026 millage rate. This is less than 2% inflation adjusted. The realities of the budget are the need for increases to the judicial system budget. I recommend the board instruct the county manager to have the finance department and IT department work on a request for a proposal. This would be for the best updated technologies, training, and staffing requirements for the justice system, and also effects on the jail population. In a handout I've given you, there's an article that gives a good summary of what a lot of court systems are doing in the information technology area. I believe an investment in this area will have a major payback.
All right, 15 seconds, Mr. O'Connor.
Fulton County must enhance and correct what's going on in the judicial system if we're to stop the massive increase with the people in the.
Good morning. Boker Tov. That's Hebrew. That still means good morning. My name is Dorothy Harp. I'm a resident of Fulton County, city of Atlanta. In the city of Atlanta, we have a lot of problems in my area. We have potholes about as big as my head. We called in, no one never seen to come. Okay, it take them maybe about 6 months and then they finally show up. But the millage rate is what I'm here for. We do not need an increase in the millage rate. That's gonna knock the seniors like myself out of my home. I've been living in that house 40 years, and I'm sick of paying Fulton County property tax. I think we should abolish property tax for seniors 65 and up. Me, myself, I'm 75 years old. I'm on a fixed income, and every doggone year, property tax going up, and it's just a hardship on us seniors. At 65, we should abolish property tax for seniors. Thank you very much, and y'all have a blessed day.
My name is Mike Russell. I'm a resident of Fulton County, the city of Atlanta. The first thing I want to talk about real briefly is the TAD. I just don't understand why you would take the TAD away from one of the most vulnerable neighborhoods in the county. If you're going to do anything, reform it so that the TAD money is used for people to own their homes and not be renters. That's the only thing I could think that you could do to improve the TAD, but taking it away is ridiculous. It makes absolutely no sense. And the millage rate, I don't know who came up with the ridiculous 12%, but I see that as a negotiating tactic to put it at this ridiculous high rate so then we will accept something less like 4 or 5%. Not going forward. It needs to be the full rollback so there is no increase in the property tax at all. We're not falling for the 12%. Nice try, but we're not falling for that. Seniors cannot afford their property taxes to go up. In my neighborhood alone in Grove Park, we have a woman who is defecating in a bag because she can't afford to get the plumbing in her house fixed. Do you think she can afford a tax increase? The man down the street from my house was without power for 30 days this time last year because a tree fell on his house and pulled the wires out. And he was told it would be at least $10,000 to get it replaced. We got on the phone, we got that fixed. No help from the government. But do you think he can afford a tax increase? These people are just barely surviving. I somehow get the impression that maybe some of you want to put these people out of the house so the developers can snatch them up for pennies on the dollar so they can go build bigger houses. It makes no sense. Not 12%, not 3%, not 1%. It needs to be a full roll back to zero so that the people who are suffering are not going to suffer anymore. We're not getting a 12% pay increase.
15 seconds.
Taxes. Not at all. It needs to go away, zero.
Hello, I'm Brian Allen, Vice Chair of the Libertarian Party of Fulton County, and I'm here to speak against the proposed millage rate increase. I'd like to start by saying that I actually agree with Commissioner Ivory when she says that you shouldn't be both lowering taxes and increasing government spending. The problem is that she, along with several of the rest of you, have reached the wrong conclusion. The solution is not to increase taxes, but rather to cut government spending. Fulton County needs to do zero-based budgeting for the next fiscal year and get back to basics. You're required by law to provide certain services like the jail. Focus on these and cut out everything else that's built up over the years. The idea that some of you want to raise our taxes to do things like increase arts funding is absurd. I don't have anything against the arts, and if you want to donate your money to the arts, you're welcome to do so. We're all perfectly capable of donating our own money to organizations. That's what we want to do. Which do you think is more important to the people living on the edge as it is? Keeping a roof over their heads or having another theater showing? And don't kid yourselves. If you raise property taxes, people will lose their homes. The fundamental problem is you literally cannot know how to spend our money in accordance with our preferences better than we do. The 7 of you do not know better than over 1 million Fulton residents. There's a reason why central planning doesn't work, but markets do. We are perfectly capable of spending our own money for the services that we want. By raising taxes, you necessarily divert funds away from our demonstrated preferences. For the past few years now, I've come down here saying you need to cut out the favors to the special interests and put the general welfare first. What you're proposing now is the opposite of that, siphoning the wealth of the general public to give to special interests. You should actually be lowering the millage rate, but at the very least, accept the recommendation of your own staff and don't raise it. I would be happy to help with the budgeting process any way that I can. Thank you for your time and attention.
Devin Barrington Ward. Well, now that we're all friends again, you know, it's not personal, but it is personal. I have a young son. I want to be able to invest in his future. I can't do that if the government is coming asking me for more money, especially at the same time when there's been no reforms to how we do assessment in Fulton County. I don't understand why high-end property owners in Fulton County are able to get away with that. Because according to Georgia Tech, if we just tax them at the rate that they're supposed to be taxed at, and they paid actually what they owed, we wouldn't need to do a property tax increase. We're talking about $290 million on the low end that we're leaving on the table. Part of the reason why people are so offended by this is because we read the headlines. We saw how Fulton County gave away $75 million to Microsoft for a data center. We saw how Fulton County gave away $10 million for an Elon Musk data center for Twitter. We saw that. And so we're like, there's no way that we're living in the same reality where you all have the money to give that away and tax incentives, but then ask us for more money. The two just don't compute. And so what we're asking for is to get back to the basics. And on the jail piece, we can't continue to use the mismanagement at the jail, because all you got to do is just talk to the investigators with the Department of Justice, and they will tell you that it is not a building issue. It is a management issue at the jail. And so the fact of the matter is that we need to get back to the basics of being able to run departments and offices in the jail here in Fulton County. But that doesn't mean that you should come asking me for more money, because frankly, I don't have it. We don't have it.
Next 6 speakers, Jimmy Hardy, Chris Rodenbrough, Julian Benet, Kelsey Bond, Victoria Caprice, and Jim Martin.
Thank you. Yes, Jim Martin again. I believe the speakers before me left. They were a bit intimidated by the list of online speakers, but had intended to speak to you about the systematic underassessment or underappraisal of properties in the county. They had a fairly long laundry list of those properties. I do not have that. I intend to speak to you once again about the wasteful giveaways by your development authority. I spoke about that earlier, and I thought perhaps you would like some specific examples. Quite often, the Development Authority gives away money to projects that are already well underway and require no incentive because they will obviously be completed anyway. 2 examples of this in my own MPU are Tilford Yard and Westside Village. The Development Authority swept $30 million out the door on those deals. Also, the Development Authority likes to subsidize projects or incentivize projects that are nominally complete. DC Tech Communities, not long ago, $4 million swept out the door for absolutely nothing. The Development Authority is even willing to subsidize projects that were completed decades earlier, as if some sort of time machine were involved in the rationale. A great example of that, Bank of America Tower, 20 years after it was built, received an incentive in order to continue existing. Then, of course, there are the projects that predictably failed to generate any of the alleged public benefits they were going to, such as the tax revenue from the Glenwood Kroger. The Campanile building in Midtown is a classic example of all of these problems. Dewberry Capital is receiving a tax subsidy for maintaining a vacant, blighted hulk in Midtown where they destroyed 200 jobs. This absurd subsidy began long after the site was initially developed and before it became blighted.
15 seconds.
It is continuing, apparently due to a clerical error that no one seems willing to correct. If all this is going on, do you really need more tax revenue from the rest of us?
Next 6 speakers, please come forward. Charles Rambo, L.A. Pink, Tamita Chapman, Diana So, Rhonda Sells, and Glenn Wrightson.
Commissioner Khadija, thank you for wise advice that you gave me years ago, that there are no permanent enemies and there are no permanent friends when it comes to politics. And in my comment towards this millage rate, Commissioner Pitts, I don't want you to go into this election with people blaming you for the reasons that the jail has gone under. Our good friend, Mr. John Sherman, reminded us years ago that it was the block of 4, traditionally, that had blocked any type of funding that went towards infrastructure that would have otherwise given us a better criminal justice system in jail that we can move inmates through. So with that, the millage rate, ladies and gentlemen, honestly, we have to suck it up. The majority of what we're going to be paying for in millage rate deals with 8th Amendment deliberate indifference to the constitutional rights of inmates. And if you don't correct that problem and correct it soon, you're going to continuously see more and more costs related towards the jail. So with that, I say, and I hope that you're listening, Patrick Labat, when you come over here this evening, follow what Mr. Ellis is simply asking you for, and that is the fact nobody's threatening your constitutional authority because of the fact that they're asking for some accountability of what you have spent. How about you come over and start with where we are with the budget in terms of overtime as well as towards manpower to get that jail properly staffed, because at the end of the day, forget millage rate. How about those lawsuits that you still got to pay for? So let's get on the ball, Commissioner Pitts. Again, no permanent enemies, no permanent friends. But I don't want you got your issues with the jail. But at the end of the day, you shouldn't carry that weight and burden for what your party has done over
15 seconds.
That causes those problems. Thank you very much.
He always gives y'all a pill to swallow, and somehow y'all don't get it down. I mean, here it is. We all have came down here way before this moment, and we're back to this moment again. We continue to repeat, and y'all could cover up. And like I said, I named 3 earlier, and I named those 3 because they went to the jail. Y'all were able to visit, y'all were able to see, y'all were able to cover up, because that's all that's been done. Cover up. Cover up why the taxes is continuing to go up, to go down, to go all around. Why we should keep them the same. Why should we? You know what God said that is a double-minded person that can't be trusted in none of their ways. When we look at some of you, that's what we see. Double-minded. Playing games with the community. Us as advocates coming out here having to speak for those that cannot even come down here and walk up out their houses, some of our elders. But they got to worry about how they're going to pay their taxes. When they shouldn't. That should be the last thing, like they just said. They shouldn't even, once you hit a certain age, 60, 65, 70, they shouldn't even have to worry. Our seniors should not have to worry. But we got Funny Willis running around here on Grey Goose. Ain't that what she told y'all? Paying Nathan Wade millions of dollars. We got you traveling all over the world. Now y'all want to come for pit seat. Baby, let me tell you something. Y'all ain't got a chance in hell. And I mean that. My feet gonna be swollen, my hands gonna be sore because I'm gonna be knocking. I'm gonna be walking. Trust me, double overtime, baby.
15 seconds.
You can't even meet the doors that I can meet unless you're gonna pay over staff. And the staff you got right now, they lazy.
Hello, I'm back. I never quite really introduced myself. To let you all know, how did I get into a place of homelessness? I was on a government contract, my contract ended, and I split with my husband. We had built a house from the ground up. He backed out of the contract, and I'm here in Georgia, rebuilding my life, and went to this housing program called Haven for Hope. This person illegally evicted me. I came before your board last month. I felt so hopeful because it was 3 representatives that came to my aid. I'm thinking, oh yeah, surely they have a budget for emergency housing. They're gonna help me. Not a handout, but a hand up. Unfortunately, I've been knocking on every door, as I stated. Joshua Williams was able to help me because of Atlanta Savage, to actually help me with the Secretary of State to place a complaint. But I'm trying to figure out, why is there no emergency housing budget? I'm hearing that taxes are going to be increased, but why is there no budget for emergencies for people like me, hard workers? Because life does happen, and unpredictable things does happen. Why is there no housing? Why am I being turned in every direction? And in this board, I know that this board is powerful. If you guys are powerful enough to increase taxes 12%, affordable housing should be available for people like me and other helpless mothers. Because there's a lot of foundations that are just taking money and there's no accountability. I'm just asking the board, please, at least have a budget for affordable housing. And I pray that justice is also served as far as Haven for Hope, taking advantage of single mothers and domestic violence victims. And I just pray that things change. Thank you for your time. Hello, Ben Watson here. Long-time Atlanta, Fulton County resident. Have run for mayor of Atlanta several times, and had I been elected, I present you. Listen more to what I have to say. One thing is you should have the public comment here in person precede any computer remote comments. When the taxes go up, the payments are made with after-tax dollars. You say, oh, the taxes are going up $200, but the individual has to make $230, $40 to pay the $200. The three-pronged system is a problem. You got the tax assessor's office, and we all know what's happened to the digest, and the tax revenue tracks the digest, so you've got more tax dollars coming in already. And then you got the rate that you set, and then you got the tax collector, and he'll sell the property on the courthouse steps where the tax is not paid. And there's no pressure release valve. You lose your property if you don't pay the property taxes. The taxes contribute to higher taxes contribute to homelessness and higher rent, and rentals don't get the homestead exemption. There should be a balance and we should correct the imbalance between the assessment of commercial and residential before any tax increase. And we should eliminate or reduce or eliminate any overlapping services that are provided before there's any tax increase. Last 6 speakers at Assembly Hall, please come forward. Adobe Okoro, Nathan Club, Leonard Adams, Lowell Solomons II, Kat Hartley, Victoria Salvia. Hello, my name is Kat Hartley. Why is more government revenue treated like it's automatic, like it's owed to y'all? I'm here because Fulton County is collecting $120 million more than last year. That's not just from rising property values, you're also raising the millage rate, so people are being taxed on higher values and at a higher rate. Meanwhile, wages aren't keeping up. Essentials like rent, utilities, food, and insurance are already costing more. Most people I know are cutting back, and so the government should too. And to be clear, my concern isn't just about this year's rate, it's about the entire system. I believe this constant taxation, especially through property taxes, is fundamentally wrong. Property tax is not freedom, it is government rent. You can spend 30 years paying off your home, but if you miss a tax bill, the government can still take it. That is not ownership, that is coercion, that is control, and has no place in a free society. If anything, the millage rate should be going down, not up, since property values are rising. It should be proportional and fair. If we have to budget and make hard decisions through hard times, so should you. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Hi, my name is Victoria Salvia, and I live in District 4. So, basically, just wanted to reiterate, Commissioner Mo Ivory of District 4, along with the support of Dana Barrett over here, and Marvin Arrington, and Khadija Abdur Rahman. These are the people who have proposed this property tax. So I was kind of interested, and thank you, by the way, to the other two who didn't propose this, and I'm kind of wondering, what's the motivation here? And I was kind of looking, at Fulton County and seeing who, which commissioners are in which areas, and it's interesting that the two wealthiest commissioners, Miss Bridget Thorne and Bob Ellis, they are commissioners of the wealthiest areas in Fulton County, yet the poorer areas, my area, there's a lot of very poor people. Mo Ivory was the one who brought this up for the poor areas. Why is that? And yet, you guys and then I looked at your bios, on the website about, equality and community service and, empowerment of the people and all that kind of stuff. Yet you want to just rob your own people who put you in office even more. Let's just face it, any kind of taxation is theft. You just want it, it's just there's no difference between the old days when the serfs needed to pay the kings to even live on their land. If we don't pay whatever, you guys are proposing, then we, out of coercion, duress, and even violence, we get robbed of our own property. The government will seize our property. How is that different from slavery? It's actually no different from slavery. You guys are acting as kings in the form of government, and you want to steal even more money from us. Mr. Chairman and members of the board, we have 56 speakers on Zoom. Hello, Commissioners. The first person to speak is Anoli Bristol. Anoli Bristol. Next person to speak is Anwar Goswala. Anwar Goswala. Next person to speak is Betty Scott. Betty Scott. Next person to speak is Brenda Mayweather. Brenda Mayweather. Next person to speak is Candace Connor. Candace Connor. Next person to speak is Cindy L. Huff. Cindy L. Huff. Next person to speak is Cassandra Powers. Cassandra Powers. Next person to speak is Charles Q. Tobler. Charles Q. Tobler. Next person to speak is Cynthia Purnell McDonald. Cynthia Purnell McDonald. Next person to speak is Don Simeon. Don Simeon. Next person to speak is Don G. Hurdle. I'm sorry, Deborah G. Hurdle. Deborah G. Hurdle. Next person to speak is Derek Holloway. Derek Holloway. Next person to speak is Diana Britton. Diana Britton. Next person to speak is Donnie Knight. Donnie Knight. Next person to speak is Amber Hogshead. Amber Hogshead. Next person to speak is Evelyn Meadows. Evelyn Meadows. Next person to speak is Frank Whitfield. Frank Whitfield. Next person to speak is Julius Williams. Julius Williams. The next person to speak is Oswald Goswala. Anwar. Yes, yes. I want to just speak on two rights. One is the increase in the price of the property, the value of the property. Now, in our subdivision, people spend 100 to 200,000 upgrading the property, and therefore they are getting more value. Now, our houses, which I'm staying in Fulton County, North Fulton County, is the same. We have never done any upgradation, but we have to pay taxes because somebody else has spent 200,000 and his property has replaced 300,000. Whereas our property is the same, so they're increasing the value Okay, great. I live in a neighborhood in Fulton County where we have just discovered that not only are our taxes going up, but we've discovered that we live in two separate neighborhoods, and then we have neighbors who are zoned as R4, which has made their taxes astronomically, I can't even say the word, extremely high for them. As far as I'm concerned, though, I do not agree with this millage rate increase. I think what it really is, and this is the word I want to say, what it really is systematic foreclosure for everybody. That's exactly what it is. You all are taking people's homes, and then you're giving them to these investors. These investors pay for the taxes you can't pay, and then Mr. Ferdinand gets $1 for every house that he sells to these investors. And he's the highest paid person in that county, $380,000, and that is just not fair. So I hope you guys will vote to shoot down this millage rate increase. We cannot afford it, period. And thank you for your time. Next person to speak is Jonathan Oliver. Jonathan Oliver. Next person to speak is Lucia F. Next person to speak is Mark Palmer. Next person to speak is Nancy Kwan Sellers. Nancy Kwan Sellers. I'm here. What? Yes, go ahead, ma'am. We can hear you. Okay. I'm a native Atlanta, and I was born in Crawford Law Hospital. I grew up in East Atlanta. I went to school at Georgia State. I had commercial real estate. And I recently went to a hearing for an appeal on property tax that my family owns in Mechanicsville, which is across from the Atlanta Stadium, the former Atlanta Stadium. Anyway, I was told by the appraiser that the increase on the assessment was due to the fact that some of the residential homes that were built in the neighborhood were overselling for over $500,000. First of all, comparable, this is vacant land. And this vacant land is like half the size of a regular lot in this neighborhood on Dodd Avenue. You know, and then I was asked by the appraiser why didn't I build a home on that land. I said, well, first of all, I can't afford to build something on that land. The interest rates are too exorbitant to borrow any money to build it. The other thing is I don't have the money to pay for building a home. So I can't even afford to build a home and live in Fulton County, much less pay an increase in property taxes. The next person to speak is Jonathan Oliver. Jonathan Oliver. Okay, Jonathan Oliver. Okay, I'll continue. Next person to speak Next person to speak is Shay Ross. Next person to speak is Waduda Muhammad. Waduda Muhammad. Okay, the next person to speak is SM. Okay, the next person to speak is Jonathan Oliver. Jonathan Oliver. Alright, and I do believe that is the last of the Zoom public comments. This concludes the Zoom public comments. Alright, thank you. What's next? Presentations to the board, 1247. With your pleasure. Alright, we'll entertain a motion to recess for lunch and executive session. We may take up items of real estate, litigation, and personnel. Need a motion. Motion to do so by Commissioner Barrett, seconded by Commissioner Ivey. Please vote. And the vote is open. And the motion passes unanimously. It's funny because you would think that maybe it would be so stressed about competition, but when you incorporate some kind of competition in there, they are going for the gold against terrestrials, and they will sit together at lunch and talk and laugh about it. But I also noticed that they're very competitive with our volleyball team and swimming competition that we compete in. It's nice, and it's nice to know that they don't have to give up those things they love, even